Hello, hi there Capricorns, hope that you're all lovely and well. This is your love horoscope for April 2019. I've been loving doing these readings for this month because my guides have been expressing the overall theme in very unusual ways, and yours is no different. So much so that it's interesting to interpret. Because Capricorns, I think you've still got Saturn's influence very, very much heavily influencing you in to make sure that your next sort of 9-year cycle really works out the way that you've been trying to manifest, so that your hard work is, expressed in the right way. But it also means making some fundamental changes in directions that some of you have been pushing and pulling against. So some of you going with the flow, even though it may not have been what you'd hoped for, because you see where it's leading you to positivity, and then some of you have been fighting against it. Now, the things that my guides have been showing me as imagery to express, which has been through song mostly for most people's readings, is yours is not particularly a song, apart from one, which is an old song, which I've been doing a lot, using old songs, which is called, I don't know if it's called this, but the line they're singing is, "That's why the lady is a tramp." And also they're just bringing out the whole kind of like American crooner, dark smoky room, slightly mafia, slightly kind of like that kind of feel when it comes to your month, which is really unusual. Now let's go back to them saying the lady is a tramp, or that song, but they're using that line. They're saying, Capricorns, that, how do I put this I don't think I can put this any nicer. They're saying that whoever you're interested in romantically, or you want attention from, is a tramp. Now, when I think about that song, and I don't know all the words to it, but it's along the lines of, I'm trying to find really good words, but it's almost like that person's just a little bit too free and easy, too available to other people, or can't make some changes that just make them a bit trampy. I don't know how best to explain it without really using language that I'm not used to doing in a YouTube video. Do you get where I'm going with this? And then when I see all this kind of mafia behind the scenes, like, I'm not saying that who you're dating is with the mafia, but in terms of that underhanded, tips to the side, I don't know, up to no good, dodgy dealing. I don't know, you have somebody in your life, unless this is you, and if it is you, like stop it. But you have, the way it's feeling is that you have somebody in your life who is a tramp and can't be trusted, or can't be, like, is doing underhand stuff. Maybe they're really nice, because even in that song I do know that the person is really, really nice and glamorous and all that kind of stuff, but they are still a tramp. They still like to run around with everybody, and like to do certain things, and like to do underhanded stuff. So it's almost a little bit like, two things can't be true at the same time. 1 minute, guys, I'm going to be back because I only have to do one take of this. My dog wants to come in. Sorry, that was Mr. Darcy, and if I'd continued, I'd have to redo this all again, and I only ever do one take because I never know what my guide's going to say. So basically my guide's saying, watch out. They're actually using lots of songs. They're using another song. They are definitely highlighting that whoever you're remotely interested in, wanting back in your life, or are with, that they do have this seedy underbelly that feels like it might be very much in contrast to the direction of where you would like to be in a relationship. And I've said this many times to people, particularly Capricorns, in this year in particular, as you head towards December, when Saturn finally comes out of your sign. But Saturn is almost expressing at this moment in time that you're to avoid distractions from people who have seedy underbellies, who are a tramp, because even though that language in that song feels all very hip and cool, the story behind it is really about somebody who can't be trusted, not for commitment anyway. They're good for fun, but nothing else. And perhaps maybe that's what it's saying in this for your love life this month, which is to say you can have this person in your life, but it would be for fun. If you're looking for something much more serious, it feels like you might be walking into or getting yourself involved in a situation. And there's one other sign where this, again, I just feel a sense of vulnerability. And you're the third sign I think I've read for where a vulnerability element has come out that has concerned me. And even though yours doesn't feel as serious as the others, but it definitely feels like you could get drawn into something that once you're in it, it's quite hard to get out of with somebody, more than just your love life. There's a risk of you being hurt. And ultimately, and I think this is probably the first time I'm going to say this, any sign since doing these, is that I kind of feel like you guys should be single this month. And I know for some of you that might not be possible, but perhaps your energy around, if you are married or in a committed relationship, needs to let them do their thing and you not get involved for this month. Because it feels like, I don't know, I don't want you to be the lady tramp or the man tramp because you've been dragged into something. It's just such a hard reading because I feel like with this vulnerability element of not being distracted or being sucked into some sort of, I don't know, mildly toxic environment with this relationship or newly established thing, that it just doesn't feel right for you. And I can't get away from it the deeper that I look into it, and I laugh about it, but I just can't get away from it, Capricorns. Like it's the first time I'm saying I think you need to be single. And if you can't be single because you're committed in that way, then I would certainly stay out of their business. Don't get drawn into anything that will definitely appear shady, because it feels like it will affect your love life. Or affect you, and I mean in the sense of how you perceive love, and I mean in the sense of how you feel about your own self-esteem and how you feel morally. You don't feel whole if you get sucked down a rabbit's hole with somebody who on the surface might appear, I don't know, entertaining or interesting, when in fact, yeah, they are those two things, but they're also dodgy as well. And both those parallels can exist at the same time. You can have a lovely person who does bad things or is involved with, I don't know, unsavory things. Like, and I have a few clients like this. So you can fall in love with somebody, but then they're into criminal activity. I know some people like that, like bad boy, bad girl, but how does that really impact you long term? Like, so that's just a small example. I'm not saying that happened to you, but that's a small example. So what's your vulnerability this month? A lot, Capricorns, because you're the third sign where there is more vulnerability coming out in your month. And if I'm being honest with you, I think Saturn will be highlighting some things this month to make you question things, but to push you again onto the right path in some growth and some learning that you're supposed to be going into this month for the end of this year. And I hope that helps. Take care.